Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com. In this lesson, we'll continue with part 195 of constructing the car project. Okay, so continuing on from the previous lesson, I'm going to work on more flanges, especially around the tail lamp over here. So I think I'm going to start by untrimming this piece over here because I would like to get it back to the theoretical, and I'm going to be projecting some curves on surface in order to make the flanges. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and this already has a curve on surface, so this should be okay. Well, actually, you know what? Let's see. I'm going to delete the original one that was here, the one in the blue. And I think I'm just going to be using this. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put a flange here. So I'm going to just draw a draft like this. And I think I'm going to do a chain select over here. I think that's pretty good. Now it doesn't really need to go that far, but yeah, I'll just do it that way. Okay, so for this one, I probably want to do a draft angle of at least 3, but because of the angle over here, a higher amount might be better. Now, it does seem like it's going in this way, but that also could be due to the perspective, so I'm not sure if this is the best idea to do so. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it at 3, although I probably have to redo this one, but let's see how that goes. Okay, so for now I'm just going to do 10, and I think that looks pretty good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to project this from Z, probably. Let's see. Yeah, I think Z is fine. Let's just compare it to the scan, or not the scan, compared to the image. I think it looks pretty good. And I'm going to be doing the same thing over here. Now this is going to be a little bit problematic because of the angle, so I'm going to just make it a little bit longer, just for a little bit more space. Now looks like it's been reversed, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say -3, so to make sure that it is drafted in the right direction. And now let's do the one over here. Now this one, I think it could be considered a continuation of this curve, so I'm just going to leave it that way. So I'm just going to project this one over here, and this one I'm not going to project from Z, but from view like this. And again, I'm going to do a draft like that. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that, and this one is going to be requiring a little bit more thought. Okay, so here's what I think I'm going to do. So first of all, I'm just going to make this somewhat straight. And the problem is, because it's going through multiple surfaces, I don't know if I necessarily want to piece this together. I might just make it into one piece. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean, because this is a multi-piece, because there's a lot of surface, I guess, level change. So, you know, it's low here, it goes out and it goes back in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a sheet from this curve and just to use that. So if that's the case, I think I can probably get rid of this one over here and just do it this way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a draft from this curve, and I'm just going to draft it out this way. And I'm just going to make sure that it is 3 degrees. Make sure it's opening this way like that. And I'm just going to extend it out like that. And that should do it. Okay, so basically I'm going to be using this sheet as a draft surface for all of these pieces and fragments over here. Okay, so to be honest, I don't know how it's going to work because I do have to take a look at it. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to extend this back a little bit so that it actually has room. And now let's do a little bit of finesse. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, delete the construction history over here, and I think I'm going to start chopping the pieces down. Oh, and this one, I probably want to do this one first. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I'm going to grab these two pieces. I am going to grab the fillet over here. Make sure I grab the fillet. I'm going to say hide unselected. And I'm just going to make sure that I have enough room. Now, the problem is, because of the angle, I think this is going to require a little bit bigger fillet. So let's take a look. So first of all, actually, I think I'm going to start trimming these pieces like this. So I'm going to say divide over here. And I'm going to trim these pieces, get rid of those so that it's, now this is going to be for this side. And oops, let's go back here. And this is going to be for the liftgate side. Okay, so I think that looks good, and I'm going to be doing the same thing over here. I'm going to say grab these two pieces like this, and I'm going to say divide, and the rest I'm going to delete because I don't need them anymore. Again, this is going to be the body side, and this is going to be the liftgate side. And I think that should be good for now. So let's go ahead and do this one. So I'm just going to grab these pieces like this. I don't really care about this one because I think this should be pretty easy. And that is something that I have to take care of when I am doing the upper. But these parts over here, I want to do that right now. Okay, so let's see how much real estate this is going to take up. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I probably want to put a fillet here first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a surface fillet like this. It's going to be chord, it's going to be G2. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say insert curved surface, and I'm just going to snap it to this edge over here like this for that draft. And I'm going to be doing the same thing for this edge over here like that. And now I'm going to trim over here. Oops, keep. And I'm going to trim over here. I'm going to say delete construction history, and now I'm going to just do a blend curve. Well, I don't know if I want to, well, I think I do. Okay, so I'm going to just grab a blend curve from here to here. And I'm going to try to keep the CV structure as close as possible because I would prefer to keep it a single span surface. So let's take a look. So I just want to match the CV structure to my best of my abilities, but I don't think that's going to happen because of how the surface is shaped. So in this case, I think I'm just going to leave it like this. That said, however, I do want to project it. Maybe I'll just do a fit curve and see if that works better. So I'm going to say degree 5. I'm just going to do a fit curve over here. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to say that's close enough. And I'm going to just align this piece over here on the top, G2. Oh, okay, so it looks like it does shift the CVs around a little bit. But I would say that's close enough. Actually, no, the CV structure is not that good. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the blend curve. Okay, so I'm just going to blend curve over here and here like this, and I'm just going to project it from X. The CV structure might be not great, but I would say that's good enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bi-rail. So I'm just going to grab these edges like this. Rail 1 is going to be curvature, rail 2 is going to be curvature. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a test. So I'm just going to grab these surfaces like this and these ones like that. Actually, that's okay. So let me just delete the construction history over here so that it doesn't do anything funky. And I'm also going to divide this one, and I'm going to hide this one. So I'm going to say invisible. I'm going to delete the construction history on this one. And let's see what kind of result we get with the fillet over here. So I'm going to just say radius, it's going to be G1 circular. I'm going to try with 2. Actually, that doesn't seem too bad. I'm going to just extend this piece over here. Now it does seem a little bit big. So let's take a look at the photo and see if this is going to be okay. So I'm going to just extend this side. Now the problem is, because this is a sharper edge, you'll see that the angle is a little bit sharper than 90 degrees. So the fillet might appear a little bit bigger than what the radius size is. So let's take a look. So okay, so I don't think it's too bad. Let's take a look at the image. Although I don't think it's that huge, so maybe I might change it to 1. I'm not sure. But because this is already 2 over here, I might want to keep it at 2. So let's take a look. So right now it's 2, so maybe I'll just keep that at 2. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. All right, that said, however, I do have to okay, so I would say that's good enough. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I do have to put a fillet here too, so let's go ahead and do that. But everything else I think looks pretty good. Now this being a little bit long, I'm gonna chop that all off. So let's take care of that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab this fillet. I'm going to grab these surfaces like this and this one on the bottom. And I think I'm going to grab this fillet and the surface and these also. Okay, so let's grab this one. I'm going to say hide unselected. And this one, oh, actually, I forgot to grab these surfaces. So let me just grab these. Say hide unselected. And these ones I'm going to undo so that I can work on this one. Okay, actually, you know what? Before I do it, I should have probably just cut this off, but let's do this one first. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to extend this piece over here like that so that they somewhat match. I think the draft looks pretty good. This one I think looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and I'm going to trim over here. I'm going to say keep for now. And I'm going to, let's see. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a fillet between these, and I don't think I need to make it exact. So I'm going to say chord G2, it's going to be quarter length. Form factor 1. I don't know if I want to do, oh, actually, looks like they're curvature. That's interesting. Huh. Well, I guess then if that's the case, I don't need to adjust this. Okay, so if that's the case, I can just leave it like this, and I just need to, yeah, all right. Okay, that said, however, I do have a few things to do, so let's go ahead and do that. First of all, I do want to match the length over here, but before I do that, I think I'm going to put a fillet here to make sure that this works. So I'm just going to test this out. It's going to be radius, it's going to be G1 circular, it's going to be 2. I'm just going to be doing 2 all the way over here. I'm going to extend. Okay, so it looks like this amount of flat should be enough. So let's go ahead and I'm going to put a fillet here. Just going to put a fillet over here as well. Radius G1 circular. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now the length over here is all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to match this a little bit better. So first of all, let me just untrim this piece like this. And I'm going to untrim this piece over here. And let's see how much room we have over here. So looks like it's about, oh, we still got some room. So I'm going to just extend this back. Let's see, so I'm going to say minus 0.8. Wait, didn't I change? Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to manually do it. I just want to make sure that I have somewhat about a mil flat at least. I would say that's good enough. And I'm just going to make sure to match it over here. Now this one, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Now this fillet. Okay, so I want to match it over here. So let's see if it's going to be possible. So I'm just going to lengthen this or shorten this, I would say, to over here. Now, let's see how much room we have over here. It looks like it should be at least a mil. Yes, it is. It's actually quite close. So I would say that's good enough. Now this one, that's a case. I think I might do a bit of a, well, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so for this one, I know it's a less than a mil. I think it should be much less than a mil, but since we already have this flat, I think I'm just going to match it over here. It's about, wow, it's actually really tiny, 0.2, but that's okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to intersect this piece with this one like that. And I'm just going to strike a curve from here to here like this. And I'm just going to cut it straight. And I'm just going to project like this. It's not going to be X, it's going to be normal. I'm going to get rid of the curve. I'm going to undo all these because I do have to do a little bit cleanup over here. Okay, so I would say that's good, and I'm going to untrim this piece, undo that piece over there, and I'm going to, oops, cancel. I'm going to trim this piece over here, and I'm going to trim this piece over here, and this one is going to be redone. So I'm because the curve is gone, I'm just going to delete this piece over here. Let's see, I just want to make sure that it's matching properly. Yes, that's good. So, and let me just trim this piece away like this, and I'm just going to do a rail. So 1 and 2 like this. It's going to be curvature on both sides, and I just want to make sure to use a line to make sure that they are in fact the edges line up like that, and that looks good. All right, so I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. It does seem a little funky, but it works, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so this piece over here, I do need to chop this off. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's see if I can just extend, select it. I'm going to, oh, no, that's not going to work. So let me just do an insert, curve and surface. Let's see. Oops. Oh, not insert. I'm going to extend, merge off. Let's go back, and I'm going to just extend the curve and surface on this piece over here. Oh, okay, so that's good. And actually, let's do it the other way also, like this. Okay, so I'm going to trim this piece. I'm going to say keep over, oh, I think I'm just going to do a divide. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this piece and this piece over here. I'm going to put a fillet over here. So I'm going to untrim this piece over here. This fillet is going to be a little bit bigger, and I think you'll notice that this one is actually quite large. So I don't know if 2 is going to be enough, but let's try it. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that it is at least 2.1, so it's a little bit bigger than 2. I'm going to say I might be able to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to say edge align over here, and this one I'm going to say extend. That looks good. And now let's see if I can run a fillet through this over here. I might make this a little bit bigger because I do think that the corners a little, well, actually, you know what? Let's just leave it. Okay, so I would say that's good enough, and let's go ahead, and radius is going to be 2. It's going to default on both sides. I'm going to pick a few surfaces over here like this. I'm still surprised that this is actually curvature, but oh, good for us. Okay. So I'm just going to pick these surfaces over here, and let's go ahead and put a fillet too. And I think that's working out quite well. All right, so that looks pretty good. And this one, I'm going to make sure that it continues upwards, but that's for a little bit later. So I'm going to just leave it like that for now. Okay, so that's it. However, let's go ahead and delete the construction history on this fillet because I'm pretty happy with it. And there it is. Okay, so that looks good. And this piece over here, I'm just going to trim using this piece over here. So I'm just going to project normal, and I'm going to trim this one. I'm going to say divide. I'm going to delete the construction history over here, and this piece over here, I'm going to retrim. I'm going to say just keep. I'm going to delete the construction history again. And I think that looks pretty good. All right. Okay. To be honest, I don't like how it is shaped over here, but I think I can just use it as is. So let's just do that. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. Now, because this requires a draft on this side also, I'm going to be doing that. So let me just do a normal. It is an opening, so I might make this a little bit bigger. Let's just try to match what we have on the other side. Okay, so I believe this was about 3 mils. Let's just check the dimension. So I'm going to just grab curve to, not surface to surface, but, well, actually, you know what? Let's try it surface to surface. I believe this was 3. Yes, looks like it is. Looks like it goes a little bit bigger down here, but that's probably because I extended this piece over here. Okay, so 3 mil it is. So I'm going to be doing the same thing over here. So I'm just going to draft it out. I'm going to say normal 3, not angle. For the length, I'm going to say 3. So I'm just going to grab this edge. Oh, not chain select. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to grab this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. Like this. It's going to be 3 mils. Okay, so looks like I need to adjust that. So let me just, first of all, deselect this one. And I'm just going to make sure that it's going to the other side. And I'm going to do this one separately. I'm going to flip surface. Okay, so that's good. Now, when I draft this bag, I probably need to do a fillet here. So let's see what happens. So I'm just going to not fillet. It's going to be draft again. I'm going to grab this edge. I'm going to draft it out. And it's going to be 3 degrees. And the length is going to be a little bit longer because we need to intersect. I just want to make sure that it's being drafted in the right direction. Right now there's no draft, so I'm going to say about 3 degrees. It's going to go the other way like this. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And let's see, I'm going to grab this edge and this edge like this. And because right now it's a little bit short, so I'm just going to extend it like that. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure about if this is supposed to be the angle like this, but no. Because the problem is, because of the angle difference, now this fillet over here is going to appear much smaller than the other one. But that said, however, I think it should be okay. So let's go ahead and try it. Okay, so let's, I'm going to extend this piece. Now, I know that this whole flange and draft, all this business seems very complicated, and which it is, but this is also a very necessary part of Class A surfacing. So if you were to do production surfacing work, one really needs to be aware of all of this process. Now, this is not exactly a full process because we are not given an engineering criteria, but this is going to be very similar, except you need to bake in, well, engineering criteria given by the engineering team. Okay, so let's go ahead and trim this piece. So let's grab this one, and actually, you know what, because this piece is missing, I'm going to say to copy and paste on trim, and I'm going to retrim over here. Okay, so I'm going to grab this one, this one, this one, this flat over here, so that we can actually do all of this. These surfaces, and this one, and this one. And I actually will grab this one also. Okay, so I think we are ready. All right. So again, I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. And I think I'm going to make sure that this intersects. Now, I don't know how it's going to, well, before I do that, let's take a look. Yeah, I think it would need to continue over here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to untrim this piece all the way through, and I'm going to extend this piece over here like this. And now I'm going to extend this one. I'm going to intersect it with this one like that. I'm going to trim over here. I'm going to delete the construction history over here. And let's see. And this piece over here, it probably isn't curvature like the other side because of all the drafts, and it's not even positioned. So I'm going to have to put a fillet here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab surface fillet. It's going to be chord. It's going to be G2, quarter length. And I'm just going to make it similar. I don't need to make it the same, but just similar enough. I'm going to say edge align, and this side I'm going to say just extend. And let's see how big it is. Okay, so it looks like it's pretty similar. I might make it a little bit bigger. Now I know there's a little bit of difference. Oh, maybe not 7, maybe just 6. Okay, so I know that it's not exactly at the same intersection, but I don't think it's that critical. So I'll just do that. Actually, before I do that, let me just make sure that the bottom is matching. So I'm going to just intersect this piece over here. And I'm going to grab a curve over here. I'm going to snap it over here like this. And I'm just going to project from Y. And I'm going to trim. Okay, so that doesn't extend. So let's just manually do it like this. And I'm going to trim this piece over here. And I'm going to untrim this piece over here so that we can put a fillet here. Okay, so it's just going to be the same thing. It's just going to be radius. It's going to be circular. It's going to be 2.1 like the other side. I'm going to say default for now. It's going to be edge align over here. It's going to be extend over here. Oh, wrong side. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it this way. Okay, so this is going to be edge align, and this side is going to be extend. Okay, so that's good. Now, let's just delete the construction history over here. I think, okay, so let's do the same thing over, oh, actually, yeah. It's going to be chord G2, quarter length. Yeah, that's good. And I'm just going to put it right here. It's going to be edge align over here. And this side is just going to be extend over here. Okay, so I think we are, again, ready to put a fillet here. So let's go ahead and do that. But on this one, I'm going to make sure that it is matching like this. All right, so let me just delete the construction history over here. Surface fillet, it's going to be radius G1. It's going to be 2 over here. It's going to be default on both sides. Let me just grab all these like that. Not this one. And probably not that one. And now let's see what kind of result we get. Okay, so there we go. I think the fillet looks good. It's running all the way through. And this side is going to be edge align. Now, I don't like how it's, let's see. Let's try Bezier. Oh, that's much cleaner. Okay, let's see if that'll work better for us. I think it does, except for this one. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep the Bezier, and I'm just going to replace this corner. So I'm going to turn Bezier off. Oh, actually, that's really clean. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to turn Bezier back on. I'm going to delete all of these. I'm going to paste it back. This, and that should fit right in. Okay, so I'm just going to project over here. It's going normal. I'm going to delete the construction history. I'm going to trim over here, and I'm going to trim over here. So I think that looks pretty good. I know the flange length is all over the place, but it's fine. Okay, so now let's go ahead, and I probably want to trim this one too. So let's go ahead and just put a tubular offset over here like this. And I'm going to say maybe 3. Oh, is it working? Yes, it is. Okay. And I'm just going to delete, and I'm going to degree 2, align over here like this, extend it just a little bit. I'm going to project, and I'm going to do a curve fillet. Now it can be just something small chord. It's going to be G2, maybe like 2 just for the corner. Oh, maybe a little bit bigger. Let's say 3. Now this is just for pure aesthetics. It just, yeah, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do a curve section over here and over here. Okay, so that looks good. I'm just going to project it on this side, and now we are ready to trim. Okay, so that looks pretty clean, and I think it looks pretty good on both sides. Okay, so I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and now we got a nice gap between these two surfaces, and I think that looks pretty good. This one, okay, so this one is going to require me to put a fillet all the way over on the top. So that one is going to come a little bit later, and these surfaces are no longer necessary. So I'm just going to delete, and we got a nice gap between these two parts. That looks much, well, it looks very finished. All right, so again, flanging always takes a long time. So this piece over here, I'm going to do in the next lesson. So yeah. Okay, so that's it for part 195. We will continue in the next tutorial, and thank you guys for watching.